everything without offending. So now my mouth is in the jailhouse with cases pending. First Amendment, you replaced it, rigged it, dumbed it down. It's not an option. Some of it I understand. Took power from me.
AT&T CFO lays out a disciplined fiscal strategy, including cost cuts. I don't know if I like the sound of cost cuts, because sometimes that just means they're firing people. I don't know if I like the sound of that. Let's see if it's something better. AT&T CFO lays out a disciplined fiscal strategy, including cost cuts. It says here that Pascal Desroches, CFO at AT&T, laid out the company's financial strategy very clearly at yesterday's Citi 2023 Communications, Media, and Entertainment Conference. He said the playbook is very boring, but very important. Drive earnings growth, pay an attractive dividend, strengthen our balance sheet. Okay, so this is for investors. Drive earnings growth. You have to make money. You have to produce revenue. Pay an attractive dividend. Okay, so they're at 7% or something right now. Their dividend is crazy high. And strengthen the balance sheet. They have to pay down their debt. That's what they're going to focus on. Cost management, reducing debt are part of the mix. The company is currently in the midst of a $6 billion cost-cutting program that began in early 2020. You remember when Elliott Management came in and went nuts? That was basically the end of the old AT&T. He said, we have to make sure AT&T has a competitive cost structure. In my mind, that is a journey, not a destination. We're not going to stop at $6 billion. There are plenty of opportunities. Okay. AT&T has an enormous legacy footprint that is declining. He's talking about DSL. As that declines, there is lots of infrastructure and costs that are related to it that have to come out. This is going to be a part of the continued journey. Okay, folks, if you are a DSL customer with AT&T, be very careful. You may be losing that access soon. Looks to me like if they can't make the money work, they're going to be discontinuing the service, leaving you with maybe nothing. That's kind of scary. That leaves you with fixed wireless access or Starlink or some other option. Man. AT&T plans to continue implementing AI and machine learning in its customer service, field tech operations to help reduce costs. It also constantly evaluates its retail footprint for the optimum mix of authorized dealer versus AT&T owned stores. I know Verizon's doing a lot of this stuff too. A lot of this. Trying to get away from that. All right, let's look at the growth piece. For 2.5 years, the telecom industry grew at a rate that caught everyone by surprise. Although he didn't mention COVID-19, that was basically the reason that telecom boomed, because people became much more reliant on the internet connections to work and learn from home. He said second half of 2022, I would say we've seen more of a normalization of growth. They actually said that at the last earnings conference. They said that the bubble of all those ads is probably done. He said we would expect at some point that the phone net ads would normalize to overall population growth. And they did a nice job during that time to make sure that they were competitive. They had the best promotions. AT&T was very aggressive during the time when the boom was happening. Speaking of wireless promotions, AT&T is making a measured approach to promotions. The CFO said, if you look at our actions relative to that of the peers, we are much less promotional around Black Friday, and that's the way we want to run this company as we move forward in a disciplined way. Yeah, AT&T was pretty aggressive for a while, and then they kind of scaled back during Black Friday. And Verizon got a little bit aggressive, and T-Mobile got a little bit aggressive too. AT&T kind of sat back and played the wall a little bit. They still had a good promotion. They just weren't as aggressive as they usually are. Last summer, AT&T raised prices on some of its lower-tier postpaid plans with the anticipation that it could move many of these customers to higher-tier plans. That's the premium upsell, getting people out of legacy plans. He says the strategy has paid off for the company. Fastest-growing plans are our higher-tier plans. The uptake to the higher-tier plans was a little bit better than we anticipated. We guided that we were going to start to see a stabilization of ARPU in the second half, and we saw ARPU actually grow. Guys, this is music to investors' ears, because what happens with this is you're going to start to see revenues start to peak. You're going to see free cash flow improving because their consumer base is upgrading. So people are leaving those old legacy plans and they're going to Maybe some lines on the start, some lines on the former Elite. Now it's called the Premium plan. There's a lot of value there, right? You get a lot of a benefit to those plans. There's rumor and speculation we're going to be seeing HBO Max come back to it. So that adds value. AT&T's phone average revenue per user, or ARPU, is $55.67 at the end of Q3, an increase 2.4% year over year, strongest since 2019. Wow, that's pretty good. I think that number, that $55.67, I think that's right there with Verizon. Verizon's got really good margins. Okay, the fiber joint venture. Okay, so that's the investment firm joint venture with BlackRock Alternatives. They've got the wholesale fiber network called Gigapower. That's going to be put into place there. Okay, so why did AT&T want to do this? He said, we're not only using outside capital, we want to make sure that we continue to de-lever our balance sheet. He said that a few years ago, and this is, we're talking, like 2019, before that whole Elliott management thing. AT&T was really constrained by debt. Guys, that's the Warner Media problem. Warner Media, DirecTV. He said, we have taken giant steps forward in de-levering, and that remains a priority. In fiber deployments, timing is of the essence. The outside use of capital is a great way to start the experiment to see how can you garner additional returns by partnering with somebody. Now with 95% of our debt fixed, we have a clear path to continue to de-lever, build fiber faster than anyone else, and I think it's important we do both. See, the thing about the fiber investment, guys, their fiber investment allows them to, what I like to call, double and triple dip. And by that, I mean the fiber investment makes their wireless network better. And it allows them to sell their wireless network in places where they did not have any presence before, because now they're going to have fiber in a larger footprint. Outside of their native footprint of their own fiber, they're going to be extending outside of it into like 21 new states or something. And then they can sell their wireless better, and they got these bundles, and they can sell the two services, better able to compete with T-Mobile and Verizon. This is really smart. AT&T, they really don't want to do fixed wireless, so that means they're going to have to really focus on fiber, and that is no easy task. He said the company will continue to look for opportunities with fiber, whether it's through government stimulus monies or whether it's through partnerships, but it will not be at the expense of the balance sheet. Looks to me, folks, like because the subsidies with the government are now gone and those dollars have dried up, AT&T is basically done. If they're going to be building fiber, it's going to be with mostly other people's money, or unless they get government subsidies. So if you don't have AT&T fiber by now, unless you're in one of those places where the gigapower is going to be built out, you're probably not going to see it.